Well, the American Airlines flight plan is unclear, but the flight plan for the airline industry is. And the destination is very clear, according to Justin Lahart, who's standing next to me, standing tall and proud of his prediction about where the airline industry lands. Tell us.
Right. I guess, you know, when we think about what's going on with AMR, one thing that we might want to do is just think about
the parent company of American Airlines.
Parent company of American Airlines. Just thinking about, well, where's the industry heading? And if you think about where we've been going, you know, for the past several years, it's toward more consolidation, towards large carriers with good global networks that they need to attract the business travelers that, you know, pay a lot for tickets and can make you profitable.
And so is American's path a positive one to that or not?
Well, it really depends. I mean, if you look at it as a standalone airline, it has some real challenges, right? So even if it comes out of bankruptcy, now the company's framed it, they've said, you know, we're going to cut costs, we're going to increase revenue, and then we're going to be okay. But they do lack a really strong Pacific business, and that puts them at a disadvantage against other.
We saw a remarkable first offer to the unions, which basically said you're going to get clobbered on everything that you want. Now that's of course the opening negotiation.
Right.
But you raise a good point, Justin, which is how does American really become, beyond shedding its costs, how does it become competitive on a route network basis, especially when U.S. laws essentially limit foreign ownership of U.S. carriers. So you have to really have a U.S. to U.S. merger.
Right, right. And so that's why, you know, the other options on the table, Delta, and obviously Delta is just a terrific fit for the airline. So American has a great Latin American business. Delta has good connections with Asia Pacific. The European business would be killer. The New York business would be also killer. So that would be, you know, a great combination when you think about what these, you know, big carriers are going to look like. The other option, of course, is U.S. Airways, which is, you know, desperate to combine with someone just because they're in a tight spot already. If they're stuck between United Continental and a combined American Delta, that would be a very, very tough situation for them to be in.
And I guess the third option is they just wind up the business and say, that's it, this is a business we don't want to be in. I mean, it is a notoriously tough business. I mean, even Richard Branson saying, if you want to become a millionaire, first become a billionaire, then buy an airline company, it's all fixed costs.
Right,
It's interest costs on the planes, which are owned by the banks, and then and fuel, and you have to pay all of that regardless of whether you're one person on the plane or you've got it full to the brim.
Right, but there is a shift in the business, and one of the things that's really changed is that fuel prices have gone up a lot. Now, of course, that's bad for the business in a lot of ways, but the other thing that it does is it means that you can't have like a bunch of pilots get together, buy some planes that are sitting in the desert, and start an airline because it's just too costly in terms of the fuel. So that keeps people from entering the fray out of it.
Right. So Justin, it sounds like you're advocating a Delta American tie-up. Is that right?
I think that eventually you're going to see some sort of tie-up, even if they decide if they manage to go alone for a while. It's just a question of when.
Right. Now, this of course worries me. When I see consolidation in the industry, I think that hurts my wallet because prices will go up.
Yes, take that vacation now.
Yeah, take that vacation now. But why should the government like approve this? Why can't they say, okay, so the shareholders are not doing very well on this situation, so what? It'll be good for the consumers. Just keep limping along, and everyone will be fine.
So far, when the government has looked at this, it's really looked at going airport by airport and said that, well, you know, you have too many slots in this one airport, and then you have to shed it. And so they might have to do that kind of concession. But so far, the government hasn't gone in and say we can't have a great big airline.
And final note, Simon, the actual data has been run. We did a nice story about it in the journal. Adjusted for inflation, the overall cost to the end consumer for an airline ticket has actually dropped over the last 20 years.
It's still a lot, though.